Hey everybody, I have another build ready for you today. This is my level 90 strength build. It's kind of like a gladiator type guy. We got the Watchdog Greatsword with Giant's Hunt, and that's what I'm using throughout the video here today. It's super fun. Giant's Hunt kind of acts as a nice roll catch after a heavy attack. Heavy attacks with Colossal Swords have pretty good stun on them, and the Giant Hunt shoots you forward a little bit, so it kind of puts you in perfect place a lot of the time. Not all the time. It's not a true combo or anything like that, but it's a pretty nice and pretty consistent roll catch, and when you get it, it's really big damage, as you can imagine, using a sword like this. We're at level 90, so our damage isn't through the roof or anything like that. I think we have 45 strength, and the weapon is at plus 17. So we're not going to be, one-shotting people or anything like that, but it's still really strong, and you're going to see that throughout the video. The little roll catch combination with the Giant's Hunt following a heavy attack is really nice too. Those are two really big hits, and that might not kill somebody, but if it doesn't, they're going to have a pretty small amount of health left over after that, and you can kind of run them down and pressure them. You can use crouch pokes if that's what you like to do, roll catch, or whatever you have in the offhand. I don't know, but it's a pretty nice little setup to play around and really powerful. The hyper armor that you get is really helpful as an invader too. Like, playing as an invader is a little bit of a different game because you know you're going to get hit a little bit. It's really hard to not get hit by two people, and having that hyper armor to allow you to tank through a hit. Hyper armor actually gives you a little damage reduction as well, and with this big colossal sword being able to do that burst damage, sometimes it's definitely worth it to take a hit in order to give a hit. Sometimes it's just what you gotta do. But in this case, we got this situation pretty well under control. Like, the host, he comes in and he's way too aggressive. He's trying to do that charged laser beam attack right in my face, but the windup is way too long for that, so he ends up eating the Giant Hunt. In this room here, so I don't know if you just saw that. That was a little bit sad, but the volcano pot, it doesn't blow up the explosive barrels. So now I know I've got to keep some regular fire pots on me, but that would have been pretty nice. Come to think of it, they might have actually had the same plan. They might have been about to throw a pot if I came in. I didn't really think about that at the time, but they ended up seeing what I was going for, and they just smashed the barrels to try to get those out of the way. So smart by them, but I don't think the volcano pot was actually going to work anyways. I don't want to go into that room and just fight them in there. That's obviously not a good plan for an invader, so I'm going to back up a little bit. And this is a nice thing about the heavy attack on the Watchdog's Greatsword. I know a lot of people like the poke on the Zweihander, or they like the bigger swipe on the Gugs, but this overhand slam, it doesn't hit the walls when you're in a tunnel or something like that. You can follow that up with a crouch poke. Now look at this roll catch. 1 and 2. So that was a nice three-parter right there. You don't really get that a whole lot. That's just because we were in that tight area. He couldn't roll away from me, so that was just a tough situation for him, but pretty satisfying nonetheless. Now in this invasion, you're actually going to see some of the really fun potential that Giant Hunt has right here. So this guy was knocked right over the rail, and obviously he only fell like 4 feet, so it didn't kill him. Probably give him a sword back or something like that. But if you're near a cliff or something like that in a place like Lanedale or Elfale, and there's a railing that you normally can't knock people over, this will actually knock them up over the rail. So that's something that kind of sets it apart from some of the other weapon arts that knock people back, or have like an amazing stun where they flatten people or something like that, right? So that's something to keep in mind. This next invasion, this is one that could have gotten ugly. These two guys, actually it could have gone either way. These two guys, they just managed to kill the enemies in that room that has the perfumers and the high pages. That room sucks. If you get caught in that room and you get invaded, like, you're pretty much dead. And if you're an invader and you catch people in that room, it's pretty much an easy win, because man, that room is insane. But they just managed to kill those enemies, so they narrowly avoided that fate. But for me, they've both got those big anchors, and those things don't really play around, so the potential for me to just get absolutely curb stomped if I take a couple hits and get stunned into place is pretty high. See, right there, if that guy queued up his running attack a little bit faster, They might have been able to lock me in place and just kill me right there, but unfortunately they were kind of not really syncing up well. Like, they weren't staggering their attacks the way that they could have. So, you know, that's fortunate for me. Then we managed to get the Lanedale Knight in here. And this is a really good enemy to hang out near, or not necessarily camp near, but just to kind of get him involved. He's not going to do a ton of damage. He's not going to, like, take your kills. You definitely want to get the finishes. You don't want the mobs to get the finishes for you. Or maybe you do, but I find that kind of disappointing when that happens. What we want is a guy with a big shield like that, because he's just going to stay alive for more than a few seconds. And him distracting the furled finger there was all we needed to get that giant hunt on him. And also you can see the turning radius on the giant hunt. That's a really nice thing about it as well. The ability to kind of switch targets right as you're queuing it up and curve to the side and catch people by surprise. I ended up healing back there a second ago because he got me with a nice little turn and burn in that doorway. And that gave him enough time to get up here and get away for a little bit. I don't know if you caught the message earlier, but another invader did come in. So we get to run him down together. And he runs back to the Grace, probably looking to get his friend back in the mix here. Now, this guy's heavy rolling. I thought he would have used that opportunity to put the shield away or something like that, but I guess he really likes the regen that you get from that shield. I tried to get a backstab on him here and accidentally hit the other invader, so my bad, buddy. And actually, it doesn't end there, so I go for the giant hunt. Great finish here. Unfortunately, we killed the other invader, but I'm going to say totally worth it. So we send that guy off the edge and he falls to his death. That was really nice. That was probably my favorite kill in this video. And speaking of favorites, this is one of my favorite places to invade, Volcano Manor. I know a lot of people really like this area too. This area, Lanedale, Stormvale, places that have like different layers, different levels, with enemies spread out in different ways. Not a ton of really tough enemies, but these enemies will throw pots and stuff. There's the abductor virgins that they do really have to watch out for. We've got these gates and just a bunch of points of separation, and that's really what you want as an invader. A chance to try to get people separated a little bit and to get one quick kill on someone. The more I play, the more I feel like that's honestly one of the keys to success as an invader, is that you've got to figure out how you can get the furled finger and the host to kind of separate for a little bit, just long enough to kill one of them or to do big damage and make him run away and try to heal while his friend comes in and tries to hold you off. And you kind of create like a stagger there so that they're not synced up as well. And that's kind of what you saw in that last invasion in Lanedale. This guy, he keeps using this weapon art. I don't know how much FP he has. He must have a ton of FP because that thing uses quite a bit. And I don't know if I even saw him use a blue pot at all. His friend hits me with the winged scythe, and that's actually not good because now I can't heal. But we've got the Omen Killer on our side, and you know, that's fine. That kind of evens things out a little bit. And this guy, he's a little bit too weapon art happy, and he gets the big bonk on the head. So we take the Phantom out, and we get to run the host down. I just waited for that effect to wear off from the winged scythe. So check this out. He uses the weapon art with no MP. Still tries to do the follow-up for some reason. I don't know what he was thinking there, or if he just doesn't use any buttons other than L2 on his controller. I don't know. I don't know why I'm surprised to see that quite a bit in Elden Ring. So this guy here, he's got the backhand blades with the swift slash, and I don't know if he's bleed infused or if it's just the other guy that did the bleed build up there, but this is a pretty toxic setup, honestly. And a lot of times when you see this build up, it's like, man, this sucks. But honestly, the hyper armor and the big weapon is the perfect counter to it. So I thought that was a nice thing to kind of showcase there. You just trade into it. Even a light attack is going to knock him right out of that attack. And then we finished both of them with the giant hunt. Really nice. And we ended here with, this is actually just a Grace duelist. This guy, shout out to this guy. He wasn't, like, he was doing a proper duel. He wasn't healing. No hunters, no rune arc, no lightning weapons in the water, anything like that. And it's a pretty cool weapon as well. This is actually one of my favorite weapons in the game, the Executioner Great Axe. It's, you know, it's big damage. It's just a Great Axe, nothing special, but big damage. But you got that critical attack modifier, which is really fun to play around. You can absolutely drain boss health bars with that. But anyways, here's the end of the video with the stats for you. These are the weapons that I use on this character. I only used one during the video, but I've got a different collection that I use throughout invasions. The jar cannon's handy to have as well. Here's the talismans that I have. So mostly just, we've got some extra health. We've got the Shard of Alexander to make the giant hunt pop a little bit more. And the two-handed sword talisman to give us more damage while we're two-handing the weapon. And I'm two-handing it most of the time. Looking at the stats, it's pretty much just vigor, endurance, and strength, and that's about it. So that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed the invasions, and I'll have more ready for you soon. Thanks, and catch you next time.